Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening if you're really far away. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Challenge Queens Networking Circle interview series. We're here with somebody who we've met in February, I think, but now we've kind of become really good friends, and I'm very excited to introduce her to you. So as you guys know, just briefly, what Charlene and I do is co-run the Challenge Queens event agency. And what we do there is we act as people's teams, lifting people up as they present their message, product, and service and bring it online and out into the world to empower others to make breakthrough and to live their best lives. So we are just so honored to be in the positions and to find ourselves in this position of being the founders of the CQ event agency. Also, we are able to empower other entrepreneurs who are looking for a cash injection through the Moderators Mastermind, where we train people to do exactly what we've been doing, because there are lots and lots of online leaders out there who need to be lifted up and who need a team. So if you're interested in that, in going through our training, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to have you on board. And without further ado, I will let Charlene introduce you to the lovely Merri Ellen.
All right, guys. So welcome. We're so happy to have you guys join us. If you're here live, hashtag live. If you're here on the replay, hashtag replay. Today we have Merri Ellen Giesbrecht. Am I pronouncing your last name properly, Merri Ellen?
Perfect.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Merri Ellen Giesbrecht is a life coach and a spiritual director, and she coaches people to connect better to God through hearing his voice according to Jesus's teachings, taking them through unique sessions in order to move forward and receive clarity. God knows each client so beautifully, and he tenderly leads by his spirit in each session. Merri Ellen's deep compassion and 20 plus years of people having seen her work effectively with professionals such as counselors, psychologists, doctors, pastors, and ministry leaders, walking them through heart healing, healthy release of burdens, burnout recovery, who's there, drop it in the chat, ministry transitions, and healthy retreats. She loves guiding people as they explore their dreams, assess their gifts and abilities, and pursue their goals. A major life contribution are her landmark contributions in the area of recovery from depression and anxiety, where her writing and coaching have impacted people in 120 countries since 2003. And when we first met Merri Ellen, we met her during another challenge that we were supporting at the time. And guys, her message is brilliant, so impactful, and she's just genuinely a loving person that can really help. And it was so exciting to invite you to come join us today, Merri Ellen, because the message that's in your heart that you share so powerfully with so many people, I think would really resonate with our audience. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I gotta say, when I first met the two of you, I haven't told you this yet, but when I saw you both on Zoom for the first time, and I didn't know who you were, I just saw this light like shining from you both, and I'm pretty sure I saw like crowns on your heads. And I was thinking to myself, who in the world are these women? They're just beaming. And then, oh, they're helping the event out. Okay. And then, yes, as Noelle said, we've been connecting behind the scenes through Messenger, and it's been just a delight to meet you and get to know you guys. So thanks so much for having me.
We're so happy to have you. And we've got another BCer in the house, guys. I live in BC, Canada, and so does Merri Ellen. She's like in my backyard. Well, a ferry right away. A ferry right away,
yeah. We have Michael watching today, Dean, Musi, Liz, Sue Carpenter's here. She's somebody who's in your group.
Hey, Sue!
Yeah, Musi, awesome. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you guys here. As you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as we kind of chat with Merri Ellen today.
Perfect. So I guess we'll start with you know, everybody has a backstory and we love hearing the backstory. So could you tell us about your journey to becoming a spiritual director and life coach? Did something happen or did it come naturally to you? Were you just raised this way and it just evolved? What happened?
What happened? That's a great question. Well, when I was looking back on my life as I was preparing for this, I realized that this is more my identity, right? Like from a kid, I was encouraging people. I played sports growing up, and I had an opportunity to play competitive women's fastball actually at one point. And I was, even though I wasn't the main coach on the teams growing up or with, you know, competitive, I was always the cheerleader on the team encouraging. And so that's kind of comes naturally to me. And then, as you said in the intro, in 2003, I began to walk with people online back in the early days of the internet when it was like email and, you know, not live video, but video sent. And I would coach people in 120 countries and through an email course. And wow, I started getting emails from people all over the world. And then in 2006, a local church invited me to come on staff. I said no like 3 times. Like, I am not working in a church. And then I just felt like God was saying, yes, I'm calling you. And so on the side, I was pastoring as an associate pastor for 10 years. And a lot of cool stuff. I even got to coach and direct soccer camps for the 10 years for kids in the summertime. So that was cool. That was fun. And then 2016, my nervous system crashed and I had to learn how to walk and talk again. There's a lot of unfortunate stress and trauma that was happening around in the environment that I was. It just grew. There was all kinds of things going on that were not healthy. And so my body said, no more, you are done. And my doctor, when I visited her for the first time and I'm stuttering and everything, she cried. She wept when she saw the condition I was in. I was given a medical team to surround me, a psychologist, a kinesiologist, all kinds of folks around me who were my pit crew. And I was in bed for months, just staring up at the ceiling. I couldn't read. I didn't even have the energy to read or even listen to anything, even anything motivational or encouraging. It was just silence for a long time. And so I got to apply my research all over again to completely avoid depression, which is what I was coaching people through, you know, all over the world. So that worked, but I had like no gas in my tank. And so I was staring up at the ceiling one day, and I remember just praying a dangerous, amazing prayer and just calling out to God and just saying, God, show me more of who you are outside of what I just walked through, this experience. And that began a pretty cool journey of him just gathering people around me who could hear him more clearly, pray healing me through healing. And I would notice that women would come and meet with me in my home around my fire pit, who, you know, I know you guys have seen pictures of it. So one day you'll join me there.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. And women would come and hang out with me around my fire pit. And we would just press in to hear the Lord together while I was on medical leave. It was so bad, my situation. I was paid 2 years of medical leave. Wow. And women would come to minister to me. And instead, what I found is like, I don't know what it was, is we would be pressing into the Lord together and opening God's word together, and Holy Spirit would just speak. Women would be weeping, be healed of different things themselves. And I just was like, oh, Lord, thank you so much for your mercy and your goodness. You're healing me and you're healing women around me at the same time. It was just really a neat experience. And then 2 years after my crash, so on the day that my medical leave ended, it was 2018, Good Friday. And I was healthy and hiking. I love hiking in British Columbia. And I have this beautiful hill close to my house. I love to hike regularly. And I decided on that Good Friday to hike up the hill and reflect on the hill of Golgotha, which is the hill that Jesus was crucified on, and reflect on just what he did for me and for you. And I just got to the top of the hill, sat on this rock, the sun's coming down on this rock, and I am sitting there and I just say to him, Lord, thank you so much for your provision, your healing, your protection. I am just so great. I just was overwhelmed with gratitude. And I just said to him, okay, I'm ready for whatever you have next. Because, you know, it's Friday and Sunday's coming, which, you know, if you're in the understanding of the phrase today's Friday and Sunday's coming, means like Friday was the day that Jesus died, but 3 days later on Sunday, he rose from the dead, defeated death, and there was new life, new resurrection life. And I was telling him, I'm ready for new life, right? Well, I'm walking back down the hill and I run into friends, a couple, husband and wife. And they had just come back from the Holy Land of all places too. And we, you know, reconnected, prayed together on the path. They asked how I was doing. And 3 days later, so it wasn't Sunday, but it was actually kind of like Monday, Tuesday, actually, after Easter Sunday. He phoned me and said, I have an idea for you. Would love for you to come and meet with me in my office. And this gentleman runs a care center with counselors and life coaches. And he said, what do you think about coming to work on our team? And I'm thinking to myself, cool. I've been a coach all my life, and I already had my life coaching certification, which I got while I was pastoring, actually, in 2013. And so I told him, I said, I will pray about it. I will talk to my husband about it and get back to you. Well, so then this is what happened. This is how God speaks. So the week after we met, just in 7 days, 3 people that I ran into, one in the grocery store, one at a meeting of sorts, and another one was a guy working, doing some construction in my backyard, all said to me, hey, do you know this gentleman? And they say his name, Dr. Dave Curry is his name. And he's had a TV show across Canada, and he's popular in the counseling circles. And he's the one who invited me to come join his team. And they all say, hey, do you know Dr. Dave Curry? I'm like, yeah, why do you ask? Didn't tell him, you know, the recent invitation. So after the 3rd time, I'm like, okay, 3 times in 1 week. And they all had proceeded to tell me how much of an impact he had made on their life, like emotional, right? So I'm like, okay, God, I'm getting the hint that this is a good thing, right? So I started working in the office in the care center. And like I said, I had like pastoral training, but also life coach training. And I would meet with people one-on-one, and they would come in hungry for help, for breakthrough, for healing of all kinds of things, right? And I would quickly realize that, like a life coach, as you know, Charlene, is you need to ask the right questions to draw out the gold from people, right? To help them get unstuck. But I quickly learned and realized, you know what, this would go so much faster and be far more impacting if I had them ask the questions to God, and together we hear him together. And oh my goodness, like that was, let's just put a jetpack on and it just amped up breakthrough like crazy. And so I would come home daily from work, could not believe the breakthrough that was happening. Like in 10 years of pastoral ministry, I saw more breakthrough in 1 day. because people come to you hungry, they're desperate, they need help, they're like ready for breakthrough. And then when you hear from the Lord and he speaks like words that don't go just right here, but like down here and into your gut, and they're speaking, it's like, oh my goodness, he is speaking to the depths of me, then breakthrough would happen over and over again. And I'd be driving home from my office here, like trying to peel myself off the ceiling of my car, like driving, hanging on the steering wheel, like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like just, right? Just so floored. So that's the story. That's the backstory of how I got into this.
I love that so much. And that's the one thing I want to encourage everybody who's listening right now. What signs are around you? What reminders and nudges are you getting? You know, look around. Sometimes we have those blinders on a little too tight. You have to consciously bring them down and look what's around you. You're probably getting lots of reminders and nudges for the direction that you need to go. If you're hitting that wall right now, look for a clue as to where you need to step forward into. And you're right, it does come. Noelle and I have had so much of that, especially this past year. I've always had that, and I love it. I love it when people talk about stories like that, because it's so true. There are signs that will guide us forward. You need to look for the key. Like any journey, where's the key that's going to unlock the door in front of you? And then make a conscious physical choice to unlock it and step through in uncertainty and in fear and in excitement, because adventure holds all of those. Hey, Noelle, do you have any thoughts coming up for you with that? Nope. Did you freeze?
Well, I was just kind of thinking that I think my internet's a little laggy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
You're good.
I think it might be a little laggy.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Go
Okay.
for it.
Okay, it's back. It's back. So, yeah, I was just thinking, like, for Charlene and I don't know if you guys have heard this portion of our story, but something like that happened like that for us was like we've had to like kind of encourage each other, and also hear God, and also just like take notice of those signs to pursue this Challenge Queens thing. Like we both had other businesses, we both had other lives going on, and I was told in January, I have a task for you. I didn't know what that was, but then, you know, a few months later, I'm like, oh, maybe this is this thing that's been developing. But going way back, before Charlene and I ever even met each other, a funny part of our story wasn't funny then, was we were both separately, we're a country apart. You can't get any further apart unless I lived in Newfoundland or something, but we were one country apart, both on our kitchen floors crying, both of us, right? But what happens is that something more powerful than us brought us together, right? Saw these two little girls crying on their kitchen floors, and we're like, oh, they could do something. They could do something. I could turn those tears into, you know, a waterfall type of thing. And so we were brought together, but before we ever knew each other, we were sobbing on our kitchen floors. So it's kind of interesting as you kind of unpack things to see how, you know, how your depression or your time of unease has been empowering others through that, and being able to say yes, you know, like maybe you had other ideas than going to work at that center, but paying attention to what was being put in front of you and being willing to say yes is a huge thread that we see in people fitting into exactly the lane that God has called them to, or where they're supposed to be, is taking the time to see what's around you and say yes to those opportunities. So how does that, Merri Ellen, how does that story take you into what you're doing today and what you have coming up that we're super excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, God is always speaking, even to people who don't believe that he exists. And I have had the honor of leading people who don't believe in God and hearing his voice. And they're like, what? And it's just amazing. So next week, I am doing a 5-day kickstart of leading women to encounter Jesus in the noise. We know there's noise going on right now. So yes, lots of noise. And what's the crazy thing is, just before COVID hit, I was leading a group of women online via Zoom. God told me to go on Zoom. I was doing in-person courses, and he told me to go on Zoom. And so I started going on Zoom in, I don't know, January of 2020. Yes, I think it was. And then crazy thing happened. So then beginning of March, in our area, I had planned to meet with this group of women, and it was going to be doing one of the exercises that we're going to do next week. And I had forgotten, I was like, I had it all set up, but I had forgotten one important thing. One thing was to pick a passage out of God's Bible, God's word, to like start from. And it was 5 minutes before the class. I'm like, oh my goodness, I completely forgot to pick a passage. So I asked God, I'm like, God, what should we launch from today? And he gave me Psalm 46. Now, at some point today, you guys are watching, go read Psalm 46, because a week later, COVID hit and we were all in lockdown. And everybody after that said, that could not have been the most more perfect passage to read before we all went into this whole transition of the world, right? So Psalm 46, go look it up and read it. Anyway, so next week, I'm going to be taking women through the basics of, how we are created to be able to hear his voice, like God's word promises it, and how we can hear his voice through journaling, through reading his word, through leaning in and listening to how he's praying, to, okay, what do we do when we're stuck and we're just blocked, and either we just, can't hear anything, it's like crickets, or when there's a weight of heaviness, like a black cloud over us, what do we do when stuff like that happens? And then putting it all together, we're going to hear from some of the students and clients that I've been walking with. I've purposely chosen just regular, amazing women, moms and ministry leaders who have been walking with me in my courses and one-on-one coaching. And they're going to share their stories of, hearing God and getting breakthrough. And we're going to put it all together. And my heart is to launch either women who have been on the end of the scale who have never heard God's voice, to women who are familiar with hearing God's voice, but they are just hungry for more, just more clarity, more peace. And so doesn't matter what, side of the spectrum, we're going to have so much fun. And I get to hang out with you guys. I mean, you guys, so much fun.
So much fun. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. So you guys, if you want to come and join us, Liz is putting all the contact information into the Facebook group there of how to join and the dates and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's May 27th to 31st. And you guys, it's free. So definitely come. It's going to be free. It's going to be, it's not free. Sorry. I'm so used to registration challenges. Go to the registration details.
Yes.
Check it out. MerriEllen.com/5 days, I believe, is the link. And yeah, any questions, feel free to reach out, you guys, in the chat. Merri Ellen's a part of our group, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a beautiful experience, and we really hope to see you guys there, whoever would like to join us. Any questions, drop them in the chat. And I think that's about it. Is there anything you want to say to close us out, Merri, today?
Well, yeah, the 5 days is a compilation of the 5-week courses that I was doing at $197. And so the cost will be $27 for the, 5 days together. So there you go. And it's worth it, let me tell you. And come and join. And it'll be an opportunity just to spur each other on too. Like, just take the plunge. If you're like, oh, is this going to be for me? Just come, and it is going to be for you, because if you are one who loves to encourage others, along the way, you're going to be encouraged too. So come and join us. It's going to be fun.
It will be fun.
Yeah,
So guys,
there's Liz and Sue and Alicia and Connie are all saying how amazing this is. Liz says, I'm signing up. This is exactly what I need. And I know that Alicia and Connie and Sue can all relate to what you're saying. And I hope to see them all there. I know Sue's already in there cheering everyone on in a very true Sue fashion. So I'm excited.
And I'm just going to say one more thing too, guys. I know I've been through a lot of really heavy stuff in my life too. And some of you know my story, many of you don't, but I went through 18 deaths over 5 years, and I really was veiled between my heart and my head. And I had a really hard time connecting back with myself. And at this point in my journey, it's been 7 years now, about 7 years, no, 8 years. My daughter's 9 now. She was 1 at the time, and I'm a single parent. Went on a big, deep healing journey, and for a long period of time, it was quite dark. And what I can tell you, what I've learned in learning how to neutralize those triggers for myself, and with helping a lot of other people who have experienced a lot of darkness and heaviness and trauma and depression, anxiety, is, guys, there's something called the law of balance, right? What is just as dark and as heavy, there must be just as much light. It has to balance out. And it feels hard to trust in that when we're in the thick of it, when it feels darkest and heaviest. But what I can tell you from my own experience, and Merri Ellen from hers, and from so many people who have been there and done it, in your darkest moment, it is possible to have your greatest light. And you can find purpose in your pain and move forward brilliantly if you have the right guides in place who can remind you to have hope, and people who can breathe a little life onto those embers that you already have. You've got it in there. You can pull yourself out. Surround yourself with the people who can inspire that growth in you and can support you, because it's not going to be easy. It is a process, but you can get there. So if you're in that dark, heavy place right now, know that you're in good company. This is a step I would highly recommend. Merri Ellen is amazing, and we hope to see you there. So with that said, we're stronger together. We go further, faster. Come join us. Drop some love in the group. Go live and talk about your own businesses, my friends.
That's what this is here for. That's right.
Yeah, talk about it. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming, Merri Ellen.
Thanks for having me, you guys. You're awesome.
Bye.
Bye.